Well, Madam Vice Chair, why don't I ask if you want to go next?
Thank you very much, and thank you, Pro Tem. And thank you, Dr. Glover Woods and Dr. Escobedo, for your dedication here and coming forward to serve on this very, very important Board of Education. I believe when you were here the last time, Dr. Glover Woods, we talked about the math curriculum and my significant concerns at that time about the criticisms or let's say the concern with what was coming forward. It seems to be heightened. And so I remain even more concerned, and I'd ask both of you to answer the question that has come before us. There were serious flaws identified by UC and CSU faculty, as well as the industry professionals, that we should hit the reset button and start the math curriculum from scratch. And a number of editorials to that effect, and it's troubling knowing that the curriculum is voluntary. You know, we discussed that last time, that the schools don't have to adapt that. But when you think about what the schools would have to do when that's their guidance, and it's highly criticized by, you know, Pulitzer Prize winners, on people that are really significantly with significant expertise on what is needed in a math curriculum to make sure that students can advance in college and on up into, you know, the new technology that certainly is going to drive society in the decades and generations to come. It's troubling to know that these folks, these scientific experts, are saying this doesn't make it. So what are your thoughts on how we address and adjust going forward? Do we need to start over? Do you need to meet with these individuals so that you can, you know, determine the difference between what is being presented and what the experts are saying is lacking? And in particular, they call out how this really hurts the very people that are our students in the low-income areas, our children who are in poverty, low achieving schools, low incomes, that they're the ones that are most at risk with what's being proposed here in terms of them being able to advance in the field of mathematics and technology going forward, because they don't have the building blocks to achieve at a college level. So share with me your thoughts about the concerns that have been raised and how you might address that going forward, because it is significant. And let me give you a perfect example. I wanted to go into psychology, and because I didn't advance in math, I took algebra, and I took geometry, and I took algebra 2. I skipped trigonometry. So when I got to college, I did really great on the policy issues in academia. But when it came to the science and statistics fundamental to psychology and being able to determine behavior and why not it happens, I was sorely deficient. In fact, my statistics professor gave me a C because I tried so hard, and he worked directly with me. But that little building block made a significant difference in which path I took leaving college. So, and I was not, you know, someone who didn't have the money to afford, let's say, a tutor at the time, but it just wasn't understood that little piece, understanding that little piece was probably critical to me succeeding and going forward on that different path. And so now we're talking about experts who are saying that you are eliminating the building blocks that are essential for students to be able to achieve in the STEM world and in the future of technology and mathematics and all of the things that really are essential to them being able to pursue careers in those fields. So your thoughts, because I know that you probably have had some reading those criticisms. Where do we go from here?
Do you want Dr. Glover Woods to go first?
Dr. Glover and
Okay.
Dr. Escobedo, because
Go ahead, Dr.
both
Glover Woods.
deserve an opportunity to answer and share their thoughts on that.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for articulating what we know to be much of the conversation around mathematics and how that actually overlays for students in our state. Our mathematics standards are very clear on what children need to be able to know and be able to do as they matriculate through various grades and mathematic courses. The mathematics framework, which is under revision right now, is that guidance document, Senator Bates, that you spoke to. And what we do know is that the public comment period did close again for that on May 16th, and there has still been quite a bit of comment. As a state board, what we will do is look at that comment, look at those additional suggested revisions, and when the framework comes forward to us for approval, we will be able to look at this new layer of information and make some decisions on what the next steps would be. One of the things with our framework, and I'll say this and I will stop so that my colleague can also respond, one of the very important jobs that we have in the education community is how to best provide guidance that will meet the needs of all students in California. And we know we have students who are struggling in some areas of mathematics, and we have some students who are total rock stars in mathematics. So the challenge, and I would also say the blessing, is how to have a document that provides guidance on how to allow for students to accelerate, that are having that mathematical ability and desire, and also how to scaffold or provide some building blocks for students that might be struggling a little bit but can still master those that mathematical content. So that, again, if I can kind of harken back to the appointees that we heard just prior to us, they leave out with the skills if they're wanting to go into engineering or into technology or into teaching or any other very noble field. So I would say in conclusion, once we have an opportunity to review the comments that have been given up to the month of May 16th, that date stays in my mind, we'll have opportunity to see what next steps may be needed as it relates to the framework.
Well, I'd like to add, there are already, by the way, students of poverty, students that are from different ethnic groups not succeeding in schools, whether we use previous frameworks or one we have currently. Schools aren't doing the best job, so just want to just share that yes, we may be hearing from these experts, however, what we have now is definitely not sufficient. What we also do know is that sometimes this word of equity and excellence is somewhat misconstrued, and I truly believe that, equity without excellence is mediocrity, and excellence without equity is an oxymoron. We have to have both, right? That we have to have those tier scaffolding support to help those students that perhaps did not attain those important building blocks, that they get the opportunity through specific interventions to be able to succeed. Because truly, I think the spirit is to maximize the ability for students to enhance and master these standards, and it's not to water down the standards. And I think sometimes we have to do a better job in communicating that, no, we want excellence. We want our students to be able to obtain these highly trained, highly skilled STEM jobs. But at the same time, we have to figure out ways of creating bridges, right? So for students to be able to attain those standards, even if maybe English is their second language, or they may have some type of learning challenges. So I know Dr. Woods and I will be reviewing all of these comments, and I will assure you that place of excellence as well as equity are two thresholds we will really focus on and make any adjustments needed to our framework.
Well, thank you. I just close with, I think you hear my consternation, and certainly something that I feel is extremely important, that the expertise of this number of people who have basically communicated with you that what you're planning does not work and does not help the very people that you're trying to help who could advance into STEM jobs. So it would be my hope that you will engage these individuals. They are available. I spoke to, my staff spoke to a number of them today about what they're recommending, and they're recommending that you kind of start over and take some of what they're suggesting needs to be in the building blocks so that you really can achieve the goal that you've set forward. So I'm just hoping that you'll take that very seriously, because I think it's imperative. If we're really going to go into the schools where our kids are not achieving and starting their math programs too late to be competitive at college, that's going to be on you guys, and you need to be very, very aware of that. And I think you come to us with incredible credentials, incredible compassion and commitment to education, no doubt of that. But I think that we all have to be open to, when we get criticized to the level that there's a critique on what is being planned, we have to listen to it. And these are people who have achieved amazing things in their professions. And so we need to listen to them. And so that I would hope you to do that. But today I won't be able to support you until I know for sure that that's the path that we're going to go on at the State Board of Education. So thank you.